Hey guys, it's Richard from Grafting Dragon Fruit. Spring is only a few weeks away. The weather is starting to get warmer, and dragon fruit has been hibernating through the winter. When it's cold, they don't do much. So if you guys remember my last episode, I showed you guys all of the supplies you guys need, the setup, and how to pot your dragon fruit so that way you guys can get to this stage. And if you guys were following along since last episode, you guys should be at this stage right now of our dragon fruit journey on how to grow dragon fruit from cutting to fruit. So now that we have some action going on, the dragon fruits are gonna slowly start to wake up once the weather starts to get warmer and warmer. So in the next few weeks, you're gonna wanna start giving it a kickstart, and I'm gonna show you guys how to do that and what to do with all of this new growth that you guys have now. I know at this stage, it's very scary because you guys are finally seeing growth. You guys are seeing branches everywhere, and you kind of just don't want to mess things up at this stage, but that's why I'm here. I'm gonna help you guys be confident and show you guys which one to remove, so that way we can train your dragon fruit to go all the way up its canopy, and by summertime, hopefully we get fruits. So this is what you guys are gonna have to do next at this stage of dragon fruit. So if you guys pay attention, I purposely left a lot of this new growth going on here. And new growth is what I'm talking about is these little shoots that are starting to come out. And this happens usually because the weather is starting to get warmer, the dragon fruits are getting happy, and that they are just showing so much sign of growth. And if left unattended, they can be actually energy suckers and delay your fruiting if you guys don't take care of it right away. So what I'm going to show you guys right now is going to be a very important step to train your dragon fruit to climb up its canopy and start to umbrella out, like how you guys see on all of my dragon fruits that I have here. So let's talk about which branch we're going to choose to take off and which one we're going to leave to stay and train all the way up to the canopy. So let's start with this Sour Patch Kids. And let's just talk a little bit about why I think it's ready. So I planted this during September, so it was almost at the end of our season, and nothing really happened because winter came around and they just kind of not grow. Now that the heat has been picking up slowly, they're starting to show some growth, and it's a perfect time to start cutting off unnecessary branches, fertilize them, and then give them that jump start to grow, climb, and then get us some fruit. All right. So this one has here 2 shoots. And when you're at this stage, you want to train your dragon fruit with one main branch. Focus on one main branch to just climb all the way up to your trellis. And once that main branch is at the top of the trellis, I'll show you guys what to do next. But let's go ahead and just see which one to remove. Okay, so I have here 2 branches. You're always going to want to choose the branch that's closest to the center of your post or growing on your post. And in this case, I have 2 really good options here, but this one is just a little bit more thicker, more plumped, and I do see a new growth shoot here wanting to climb up this trellis already. So what I'm going to do to help this branch grow quicker is removing this one right here. And what that does is it allows all of the energy to distribute only to this branch so it can quickly start to grow up. But if I didn't do that, the energy will be distributed to both branches and they will both suck the energy, and then you're gonna get a really slow growth going on. So let's go ahead and just remove this one and then tie this one to the post. So here I go. You can also use this as a cutting for another pot, or you want to give it to somebody, and just let it dry out for a couple days, put it into a little pot, and you can use this as a cutting. And if you want the cutting to be a little bigger, you can wait a little bit more, like 2 weeks to cut it, and it can be a larger cutting. But in our case, we want our trellis to climb quickly, so that way we can get all of this to the top and get some fruits as fast as we can. So that's one. And we're gonna go back to tie all this together once we prune off everything else. So let's move on to, so that was Sour Patch Kids, you guys. Now I have one main growth on Sour Patch Kids. This is gonna grow super quick now with the fertilizer that I'm gonna show you guys next. Okay, so this is Israeli Yellow. Israeli Yellow has a lot of growth. It's really liking the weather so far. The roots are fully developed, and you guys know your roots are fully developed is when you start seeing a lot of new growth just happening. Once they're not growing and they don't show any signs of getting plumped, it's not rooted yet. But once you see all of this new growth, they're getting plump and they're continuing to grow. As you can see, this one is trying to make its way up to the canopy, but all of these are stealing its energy. So what are we gonna do to help it, you guys? We're gonna remove all those little ones, the energy suckers, so that way this main branch of ours can continue to climb up. So I know you guys are like, oh my God, my dragon fruits are finally waking it up, they're growing, and now I have to cut them off already. Yes, do it so that way it doesn't steal energy, you guys. So watch what I do. I'm gonna remove the littlest one here. Boom, just like that. Here's another one. Snip. I see another one right here. Also take that off. You gotta look very closely, you guys, because look, there's another one right here. And this one, I can just probably use my finger to flick down. And another one right here. So here is a tip for you guys. If you guys don't feel as confident and you live in an area where you know conditions can change very fast, or you have pests that likes to eat at the new growth, you can always leave an extra one just for insurance. I call it security and insurance, because if anything starts to eat at this, I now have this other one, or because I have this other one, they won't bother this one, and then we'll go for that one. So I'm just gonna leave this here for another 2 to 3 weeks, see how it does, and if it continues to grow, I will leave it. But if I start to see that it's delaying, I'm gonna remove that. But again, you can always keep it for insurance, for an extra cutting, or just in case anything happens to your main stalk, you have a extra one to keep on climbing the trellis, okay? So we're gonna leave that one just for insurance for you guys that are not too confident, and this is a way around that to build more confidence to, cut off the rest, but leave at least one so that you guys can have one to protect you guys if anything happens, okay? Okay, we're gonna go around to, this is white sapphire. So white sapphire has been doing very good. They did have another shoot here, but it got so heavy it bent, so I already removed it. And as you guys can see, as it was growing, I just kept on using garden tape and I tied it to the post. And once I trained it to the top, it's now peaking about 1 inch over the top, and I cut the tip. So when I did that, a lot of new shoots are gonna start to grow out. So this one was very happy, liked this environment, the heat was good, so it kept on growing and has reached the top of the trellis. So that's very good for white sapphire. So we're gonna go over here now to Thai gold. Thai gold has a very nice big main branch here. They're growing good. I have one here, not a lot of energy suckers here. And for me, I think I'm gonna keep that just because we're so early in the season, just to see how it's due. Our main branch is doing well, so that's good. But if you guys continue to see any new growth other than that, and you guys don't want to have insurance and you want this to grow very quickly, remove all of the lower growth and new shoots that's coming out. So now that I've cleaned everything up, all of the shoots are off, the next thing to do, you guys, is secure your main branches. Garden tape is very good. You can use string, you can use anything that you can tie with. I really like garden tape because it's easy to use and it's relatively cheap. So you guys see my sour patch here, so we're gonna go around. Now you guys see sour patch, if it continues to grow and not get tied to the post, it can have actually a chance of falling this way and break. And you don't want that. You've been waiting so long for this to happen. So let's go ahead and secure everything nice and safe. What you're gonna do is just get the back side to be as flat as possible. What I do is kind of just help shift it like this, pull on it, and then go ahead and tie it up, you guys. And you just want to make a really good double knot so that way nothing gets loose. Get that first garden tape on, and there you have it. It's easy as that. And now this is where I'm going to inspect my post. You see how this Thai gold is starting to grow this way? I want it to continue to go up straight. So what I'm going to do is kind of just help bend it, just like that. I have some garden tape that's ready to tie. So I'm here like this. Straighten it out, and then we're gonna go ahead and tie our knot. And on top of that, we have the other one over here. This is the Israeli yellow. I'm also gonna tie it just to tie both at once so I don't have to use too much garden tape. Make it secure, make sure not to tie too tight where it's gonna break your branch. Because again, we wanna be diligent, but we also wanna be very gentle at the same time to make this very efficient. Okay, so now that's tight. We can straighten that center. And now once we get over here, you just want to center this again. And there you have it. And as this grows, just keep on training it until it gets to the top. So everything is secure. We remove a lot of the lower growth. Now, let's fertilize our pot. Once it gets warmer, the dragon fruits like to feed on something to, synthesize with the sun, feed their chlorophyll, their cell wall, so that way they can quickly climb. And what's gonna help with that is nitrate, you guys. So a tip for you guys to know when to water is, if I stick my finger 2-inch down, it feels a little dry. So if it's still wet, you guys can tell. And another way is if you clump the soil like this, and it doesn't clump and it just breaks loosely, it is ready for some water. And then you just want to dig some more. Clump breaks very easily. So about 2-inch down, it's very dry. That's going to be a sign to water. And watering can be from anywhere from 3 to 5 days. Sometimes I wait 7 days. A lot of the time I'm just touching dirt, grabbing it. If it breaks apart like that, it's signs that you're most likely ready to water your plants. So now let's get into fertilizing. So now that we have all of our growth settled, we tied everything, removed everything, it's time to feed it energy so the energy can go to the main growth and then just go to the top. Here I have something called Flora Nova Grow. This is a non-organic fertilizer, but it works very great. And I use these type of fertilizer because I want to maximize my season. Sometimes when you're growing dragon fruits, you have such a short amount of time, and when you're using the organic approach, it does take a little longer. So I kind of do a hybrid of non-organic and organic at the end when my fruiting cycle starts. And what I mean by that is, guys, I will use this Flora Nova Grow at the early season of spring. And then once it hits the summer portion, this is what I'm gonna use. I'm gonna grab that and I'll be right back. Okay, so here is a little quick summary of my fertilizing routine. During early spring, I'll be using this all the way until summertime. And summertime is when flowers start to produce, and you can help induce it as well. So let's say we're gonna use this every 7 to 10 days, and you wanna water with regular water in between to help flush the salts and stuff like that inside your soil. And about every 7 to 10 days, you're gonna wanna reintroduce this again into your soil. You mix it, and I'll show you guys all the mixture that I use. After spring is almost over and you guys are climbing closer to your flowering season, which is summertime, that's when I switch to Flora Nova Bloom. The dosage stays the same, but this is only used to help induce flower buds. And once I see flower buds, I stop all fertilizer, and then I go to chicken manure. And I'll start filling up all of my pots with chicken manure about 2 inches at the base. So that way it starts to feed on organic compost, organic fertilizer. So our fruits that we eat are organic. And by the time that the fruit's ready, all of this fertilizer that we stopped that's not organic should be flushed out of our soil, and you're ready to go. So that's my hybrid way of doing it. And you guys will see me do this all the way to the end of our fruiting cycle. So don't worry if you guys don't get it now. We're gonna keep on going, and I'll show you guys the steps, process of how I do everything so you guys can get to the stage that I'm at. Okay, so that's a little quick summary about our fertilizer. Let's go ahead and do our mixture and feed the pot that we have here today. So today I'm gonna be using our Flora Nova Grow, and it always tells you to shake vigorously. So you're just gonna see me shake this for a little bit. And I like to use a very small dosage. I don't like to go too crazy. It tells you that you can go up to 2 to 3 teaspoons, but I use about 1.5 teaspoon per gallon. So 1.5 teaspoon per gallon of this. And then I also have something I really like to combine with my fertilizer. This is called Recharge. I broke the bag, but I'll pull this out so you guys can see what it looks like. So Recharge is just a buffer for your soil. It's beneficial bacteria that's just gonna help aid in vigorous growth, healthy soil that's gonna be living. So I really like to use this, and you only need about half a teaspoon of this per gallon. So let's go ahead and mix everything, get it filled up, water our pot, and then we're done for today. And then once the next step is ready, we make it on the episode, okay? Okay. So here is about 5-gallon bucket. I needed about 1.5 teaspoon of this per gallon. So that's about 7.5 teaspoon. I already shook this up. I like using this cup because it has all of the measurings here, so it makes it a lot easier than just filling tablespoons and teaspoons. So I need about 7.5. I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Okay, so here I have it, guys. There's 6, 7, about 7.5. And if you guys go a little bit over, don't worry too much about it. Your dragon fruit will be fine. Okay, so I'm gonna put that in here. And you're gonna wanna wash everything in there after, okay? So this is 1/2 teaspoon per gallon. So that's gonna leave me with about 2.5 teaspoons. So I got a teaspoon here. So I'm just gonna do 3 teaspoons. It's okay, you can't overdo it with this because it's natural and it's just beneficial bacteria. It does nothing to damage your dragon fruits. Okay, so I'm gonna do 3 teaspoons. And that's it. That's all you guys need for now. And according to our plants, let's say if there's yellowing or if there's anything concerning that's deficient in. So if there's yellowing, I'll use Epsom salt, which has magnesium, and magnesium is the powerhouse of chlorophyll, and that's what helps, you know, repair the cell walls, and photosynthesis happens better. But we don't need any since it's still green, but if it does ever get to that part, I can make another episode about that for you guys. All right, we have our mixture in here. Let's go ahead and fill it with water. Make sure to get everything in here, in there. Nice and clean. I really like this wand, you guys, because I can mix it so well in here. Sometimes I'll stick the whole thing in there, go to the bottom, give it a nice stir so everything is mixed. And we're almost there, you guys. Okay, let's just try to clear some of these bubbles here. Okay, our mixture is ready. And you're normally gonna wanna wait about 10 minutes, let this sit, so then all of the nutrients gets mixed with the water. So when you're feeding them, they get a very equal amount of fertilizer mixed with the water. But for this video's sake, it's gonna be okay. I'm just gonna feed them right away. But normally I would like to wait 10 minutes for this to kind of just stir and mix up and then feed my pots. Okay guys, this is our final stage. Now that we have all of our dragon fruits pruned, we tied everything up, we check soil to see if it needs water, and it definitely does. All of the little growth is now gone. And all we have left is to fertilize our dragon fruits. So you guys are probably asking me, when is it okay to fertilize dragon fruit? You can fertilize your dragon fruit as soon as it starts to develop roots. Once it has roots, it now has the accessibility to actually intake the nutrients and make use of it. So we know these are very well rooted. You can see all the new growth happening. So it's ready to fertilize, guys. So new cuttings that are planted with roots, you guys can fertilize those as well. So this is what I do. I'm just gonna start filling it up. And for me, I kind of just gauge it until I start to see water drain out of the pot. And that usually takes about 4 scoops for me. So there's 2, 3, and 4. I do get a lot of questions. You guys are always asking me, what is the ratio to this scooper? And when I measured it, I think it was about 4 to 6 cup for this scooper. It's called a tabo. I buy it at Asian supermarkets. But if you guys can't find it, I'll find a link and add it to my description with also everything I use, so it's easier for you guys to just get everything at once. So I already put 4 in there. I don't see anything leaking out, so we can go ahead and add more. So I let this pot kind of dry out a little too long. But just to make a good example of when to water and when to check it, I'm just gonna add 2 more. And that looks good to me. And I'm starting to see some drain out, you guys see here. The water is starting to flow out. That's perfect, you guys. That is all you guys need. The dragon fruits are gonna start feeding from the nutrients that we just fed it, and that is it. So that's it for this episode. You guys saw me doing all of the maintenance work all the way up to the fertilizing. So that is the next stage. And now we're gonna just get closer and closer to our fruiting cycles. And as we do, I would just keep on updating with this journey so that you guys can follow along and grow dragon fruit and have success just like me. Okay guys, if you guys enjoyed this episode and I thought it was helpful, please hit the like button. If you guys have any questions, leave it in the comments below. And if you guys want to watch any more dragon fruit videos and grafting videos of mine, go ahead and hit the subscribe button so that way you guys won't miss a single thing. Have a wonderful day now. Bye guys.